Hey you guys, just letting you know that this is a spoiler heavy review. Alright, are you guys still here? Good.
You have been warned.
My question is, who's gonna clean that shit up? Hello! In case you guys don't know me, I know it's been a while since I uploaded a video. I am Snaggletooth, and this is the Conjuring The Devil Made Me Do It. If you're unfamiliar with my channel, I just let you guys know ahead of time that there will be spoilers. So The Devil Made Me Do It is the new film in the Conjuring franchise. A franchise in which I love. Annabelle, you know, I can live without Annabelle. But the main series Conjuring movies, oh yeah, just give me more. More! Just open my mouth and shove Conjuring movies down my throat and then push it down with a stick. That's some imagery for you. The first two Conjuring movies were directed by James Wan, and The Devil Made Me Do It is actually the first film not directed by James Wan, even though he still had fingers writing the story. The Devil Made Me Do It is actually directed by Michael Chavez. I hope that's spelled right. Not Michael Shaves, Michael Chavez. Yeah. Right off the top of the bat, I would have to say that The Conjuring 3, this movie, is actually not as good as the other two. Don't get me wrong, it's still a good movie. I liked it, but it is the weakest of the three. If you had Goku, Vegeta, and Piccolo, Piccolo would be the weakest of the three. Conjuring 3 would be Piccolo. I don't know how I got that analogy, it just came to my head. So the movie starts off mid-exorcism. They're exorcising this little boy named David. And during the exorcism, things go wrong. Ed Warren, played by Patrick Wilson, he actually has a heart attack brought on by, this supernatural creature that jumped on him. And while he's having this heart attack, the demon actually jumps from this little boy inside another dude who was at the exorcism. Ed can't tell anybody because now he's in the hospital because he had this heart attack. Which I thought this heart attack was actually a great point made into this film. It actually raised the stakes. It made it harder for Ed to do anything. Even like running through the forest, chasing after his wife was a struggle for him after this. A few days pass, and what ends up happening is the devil that jumped into this man forces him to kill his roommate. Now, just like the title screen says, this story is actually based on a real case. The Devil Made Me Do It case. I'm not gonna go into it, but I'm gonna link some links. I'm gonna put some links in the description below, just so if you guys want to read up on it, you can. So the kid is arrested and he's placed on the death penalty. So it becomes Ed and Lorraine's job to prove that this kid was under demonic possession at the time of the murder so that they can get him off of the death penalty. And thus begins the investigative part of this movie, which is the weakest part by far. They go back to the first house where David was possessed and start investigating, and they find this little totem that was placed underneath their floorboards. Looks like something I made in art class in the 5th grade. That proved that this possession wasn't random, it wasn't some happen occurrence. Somebody planted that there to get David possessed and to sacrifice him. Ed and Lorraine starts asking around. They ask this one occult guy if he knows anything about this totem thing. He gives them some books, he gives them some information, but he's kind of a weirdo. He's a total creeper, and you can tell like something's wrong with this guy. Something's not quite right. This guy tells him that anybody who deals in the occult, anybody who's a Satanist, will have power, and that power is not to be fucked with. So from this house, they actually get a call from a police officer, and they go back to talk to this police officer. He actually might know something about this little totem that they found. And again, this is the weakest part of the movie. Going from here to 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 here, it kind of bogged it down. You could have cut some of this out, made it shorter. I'm tired just thinking about it. Police officer tells Ed and Lorraine that this totem was used in another case that he was investigating, and that they found the murder victim, but they had not found the perpetrator, and she was still missing. So Lorraine makes a deal. She says, hey, I'll use my psychic voodoo to find this other girl, and you help us with our case. And the guy's like, yeah, sure, whatever. He tests her. He gives her the little test. He puts out 3 knives. He says, which one of these knives is the murder weapon. So of course Lorraine is just like, this one, that one right there, that one, instantly. She didn't even hesitate. So after passing this little test, they go into the forest to find this victim or perpetrator or whatever she is, this person. And Lorraine has a vision. She sees the girl murder her best friend, but she was also under demonic possession. After murdering her friend, she runs, she's scared, she's screaming, and she falls off a cliff. Lorraine, inside this vision, almost runs off the same cliff. And this is what I was talking about earlier about Ed's heart problems. And it actually made a very interesting subject, since he can't do what he was normally doing, like being the physical one, being the protector of Lorraine while she's in these hoodoo voodoo trances. She's running through the forest and he's having trouble keeping up with her. Honestly, I don't even have heart problems and I wouldn't even be able to keep up with her. I'm fat, dude. I'm out of shape. Leave me alone. Quarantine was hard. So they find the body of this girl in the ocean off the side of the cliff, and they bring her back to the police station. Ed and Lorraine have this idea that if Lorraine touches the girl's body, she can be able to see whoever put the curse on this girl, and thus find out whoever put the curse on Arnie. And time is running out, because not only is Arnie's court case coming up, but he's also being attacked again by another demon. And this demon wants him not to kill others, but to kill himself. And once he does that, the ritual will be complete. What happens when this ritual is complete? I have no idea. Maybe she gets like ultimate powers and becomes the chosen one. Who knows? But once started, this ritual has to be completed. And it becomes complete with Arnie's death. Ed and Lorraine break into the morgue to touch on this little girl's body. What? This is probably the best sequence in the whole movie. I love this sequence in the morgue. Lorraine touches the hand, and at first she doesn't feel anything, but then she goes into her trance. She goes deep into her trance and she sees the witch. The witch? The occultist? Whatever she was. Lorraine sees the chick. And she's doing a spell and she's trying to get Arnie to kill himself, and you flash over to Arnie and you see Arnie holding a piece of glass about to self-delete. Lorraine interferes. She uses her psychic voodoo powers and interferes in the ritual, but in doing so, she sees the witch and the witch sees her. Enter the bloated man. This is probably my favorite demon creature out of the whole series. This big bloated guy wakes up and starts walking around the morgue, and he's standing there, and you know what's going to happen. He's going to go after Lorraine. Ed is standing there and he's like, Lorraine, it's time to wake up. Lorraine, come on, let's get out of here. And the guy's just standing there. He's like, totally creeped me out. I would have been out of there. Fuck Lorraine. I'm out. He manages to save Lorraine at the last minute, but the witch still has their number. She knows who Ed and Lorraine are. She's gonna come after them. Ed and Lorraine get home and they're still trying to find this witch. Even though they know what she looks like, they have not pinpointed her location. While doing the research, Ed passes out, and when he wakes up, he is home alone and the witch is in his house. Actually, not only is the witch in his house, she actually brought a friend. She brought the bloated man. Yep, the bloated man is there too, trying to attack Ed. Ed pulls out a cross and holds it up and he starts reading scripture, and the demon starts backing up. That's my demon impression for all you guys who don't know. Ed raises his knife to slay this demon, to send the bloated man back to hell, and somebody grabs his hand and it wakes him up. He was in a trance this whole time. He was under a spell. The witch had Ed in a whole ass genjutsu, bro. And he was about to split Lorraine in half with this knife, dude. This big ass butcher knife about to cut her up. So now Ed's pissed. He's searching the whole house for the totem, another totem. And he finds it in a flower base and he smashes it. So now they're pissed. They want to find her because she knows who they are, and she's not going to stop until they catch her. Lorraine leaves. She leaves to go ask the old man from the beginning, the code expert. She leaves to go search for more answers with him, while Ed continues to look through the maps and look through the research. Lorraine arrives at the old dude's house, and he's like, come on in. Hey, could you translate this scripture for me? He's like, sure, I'll translate it for you. Just follow me down into my basement. And I'm like, no, don't do it. Don't do it.
Run, bitch!
The old man actually admits that he had a daughter, and he raised his daughter in secret. And as he studied the occult, so did she, in secret. And she got into it a lot more than he did. Lorraine is pissed. She's like, you knew this whole time? And I'm pissed too. I'm like, he knew the whole time? It was his daughter? Come on. Let's make a rule. You have a right to protect your daughter, unless she's summoning demons. Snitches get stitches unless their summoning demons are involved. So at the time this old man is telling Lorraine everything that's been happening, Ed actually figures everything out and he's driving up to the house to save his wife. But also the daughter arrives home and she's mad. Lorraine escapes into these underground tunnels and the daughter, the witch, actually kills this old man, her father. This tunnel sequence is trippy as hell too, because as Lorraine is running through these tunnels, she's starting to see stuff. She can see through the witch's eye, but she's also seeing other visions and trippy things. She goes into this room and she actually sees herself, like a mirror image of herself in front of her. And every time she moves, the image moves with her. And she turns around to run, and she's running towards the door. She sees herself, and she closes the door on herself. It was crazy. It's crazy. That was an acid trip right there. And then Ed arrives too, and he's down in the tunnel, and he sees Lorraine. And as Lorraine runs up towards him, it's not Lorraine, it's the witch. And she blows pocket sand into his fucking face.
Pocket sand.
Ed goes crazy. He starts smashing things with this big ass hammer. Lorraine's running from him. He's chasing her down. She's like, no, please. Ed, wake up, Ed. I love you. Meanwhile, the witch is trying to finish the ritual. She's trying to get Arnie to kill himself in the prison. Arnie is shaking. He's shaking and twisting and what do they call it? Contorting? His bones are breaking. And the prison chaplain is praying. He's praying. He's had this rosary up and he's reading from the good book, trying to keep the devil from taking Arnie. And Lorraine is still trying to reach Ed. She's trying to reach him. She's trying to reach him. She's trying to reach him. And he's crazy. He's just smashing stuff with this big ass hammer. Finally, she gets through to him with the power of love. It's true, people. The power of friendship overcomes anything. Ed snaps out of his trance and he actually takes his hammer and he smashes the altar. He smashes the altar that this witch is working on the whole time, and that breaks the spell. But of course, a soul is still owed. The demon still needs a soul before he can go back to hell. And guess who he's chosen? Yep, that's right. He's coming for the witch. The witch appears and she's mad. She has her knife and she's going to kill both of them. And the demon comes up behind her. He just snaps her neck in two and breaks her arms. She looks like a dead ass spider on the ground. I'm like, gross. And that's pretty much where the movie ends. There's some scenes of the court case and Ed and Lorraine kissing and reuniting their love, of course. Arnie is not given the death penalty. It's taken off the table, but he does do 5 years in prison. After doing those 5 years, he marries his sweetheart. It's beautiful. I always love stories where a convicted murderer just has a happy ending at the end. So that's it. That's The Conjuring 3 for you. This movie's good. Not as good as the other two, but I still enjoyed it. If this is your first time out since quarantine, this is a great movie to go see. Did you guys watch it? Did you guys enjoy it? Comment in the section below. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Please like, please subscribe, and smash that bell icon in the corner there below. This is your boy Snaggletooth. I'm out.